Welcome back to the Neshoba Valley Chamber Business Buzz. My name is Melissa Federhoff. I'm president of the Neshoba Valley Chamber. And today, for the first time on this side of the cameras,
Yes.
We have AJ Pecukonis of Clear Signal Productions. And AJ has been helping the chamber as producer of our podcast. Stopped by the chamber one day, and it's something that I had been thinking of doing, but just never had the tools in my toolbox to do it. And I'm so grateful that you came in that day and that we've started this.
Yeah, it was like a perfect timing kind of thing, too.
It really was.
Yeah, so it was great connection.
Yeah.
For sure. And yeah, I'm happy that we got this going, because one thing I do want to really push is getting local businesses to do video, because it's very important for their online presence, for sure.
That's one of the things we're going to talk about today. So talk about video, like, for business. Like, why do you think it's so important? What I definitely need to, other than the podcast, we need to be doing it more, I think. But you tell me, you're the expert. Like, why do you think it's so important?
I would say the biggest reason I like to do videos for people is that way they can tell their story. Because everybody has a story to tell, and that's one of the easiest ways for people to connect with somebody who they've never met before, right? And it's almost like a warm introduction instead of, a cold call kind of thing. It's, all right, I've seen this person, I know their mannerisms, I understand their voice, all of that, I understand what they do. And on top of like the fact that the video itself is, educating the client or whatever on what the services may be, but it's also could be used in so many different other ways. And that's like one of the things I want to try to really push today is everybody could be a client, because video is just such a prominent thing nowadays. So I really do believe that it's the warm introduction of having a familiar face, so when you call that business as well, you know what they sound like. It's so important for people to tell their stories nowadays. That's really the biggest way that people connect.
Well, and one of the things that I love that you do, so talking about video, so when you we record the podcast, and so we have a, we'll say 15-minute podcast.
Yep.
But then you can pull snippets from it and repurpose. And so it's not just a piece that sits on a website or web page somewhere. You can then pull from it different pieces that can be continuously used.
It's such a great asset to be able to use over and over again, because once you produce the video itself, it is there until you take it down, wherever it is. So being able to, like you said, take snippets of the best things that people say to really capture the attention of the viewer, and then having that video point back to the main video or the person's website, business, that kind of thing. That's really where the power nowadays especially comes in, because everyone's attention spans are, everyone thinks you get 3 seconds and that's about it, especially when it comes to the way short form video is nowadays.
Yes, I know. I'm definitely at night. I'll be doing that on my screen. Oh, no, lost my interest. And absolutely. So you need a little snippet. You've done a great job, which I appreciate. You've done a great job. What would you tell somebody that's super nervous about being on this side of the camera? What would you say? I know what I would say.
So, Shia LaBeouf, right?
Yes.
Just do it.
It's
really just do it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to become. It's almost like anything else. I'm not very comfortable being on this side, but it's something that I know is necessary for my business. And if you're a self-employed person or you have a business, it's very important to get your face and name and brand out there in more than just having a website that sits and a social media page that just sits there and sometimes posts and all that kind of stuff. So video is really one of the best ways to engage with your viewers nowadays.
I would add that when you're working with a professional like yourself, you have the ability to also play with the video.
Yeah.
And you can crop certain things out of the video. So if I, do a major stumble, and which I have done,
and I will do, I'm sure, at some point.
You have the ability to edit it so that maybe the viewer doesn't see that Melissa just tripped over herself and like did a big roll and stumble. So when you're working with a professional, it's helpful, I would say, to have that in the back of your mind of, you're not here to produce a video that's going to make me look stupid. And so like one way thing I have to say to myself is, relax, Melissa, because he's not going to make you look stupid.
Yes, that's a good point when it comes to like bringing up working with like a professional or just having somebody else help you with it. Is like, it does give you that kind of free perspective of, all right, how does this sound? Does it sound fake? Is it genuine? Because being genuine is really like one of the most important things. Being genuine and authentic, and that way people can understand how you are, and like I said before, like your mannerisms and all that kind of stuff. It's really important for them to get that right away in the video so that they can understand, okay, this might be a great fit for me or it might not, depending on the type of service that it is.
So one of the things that you've said is going viral isn't important. Why is that?
So for me, what I look at for video especially, and working with small businesses, is you can't expect a business to produce a video that's going to get 1 million views. It's just not realistic, especially when it's something more educational or you're just kind of explaining what you're doing, or even like a commercial kind of thing. Those aren't usually the type of videos that go viral.
Right.
So you kind of have to go in with a new mindset of, this isn't going to be a viral thing. Like, I'm not going to necessarily see 50,000 views and all of these likes and shares and stuff. Engagement is great, of course. The fact that you're doing it, a lot of it helps you behind the scenes as well, especially when it comes to Google. I don't know if you know those, but Google owns YouTube.
I did not.
Yep, they bought YouTube back in 2006, actually.
I probably did know that. But...
So if you look at the biggest search engines, right, if you take out AI, really, it's Google and then YouTube. Are actually the two biggest search engines. So if you don't have video on a YouTube channel and people are searching, how do I take care of my lawn? How do I do this? You're almost invisible.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to really make sure that people understand the value of it. It's almost a little hard to quantify because of the impact that it has on the back end, a lot of the SEO stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to quantify the value of video, but it's like 90% of businesses do video online. So if you're really not doing video, then you are invisible. A lot of people don't understand that how important an online presence can be when it comes to attracting new clients, especially.
Absolutely. That's the first thing that I think that people do when you're looking at a business. You're looking into a business. You're going to pull out your phone and you're going to pull up Google. You're going to Google them. And try to, and what are you going to find? And so hopefully video is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you've worked with some local businesses in the chamber. You're a chamber member. I've made you come to some chamber events. How has the chamber been for your business?
I really enjoy being a part of it. From a few episodes that we've done, one thing that a few people have said is, when you work for yourself, it can get very lonely. It can be isolating, right? Because you're kind of in your own little world. And a lot of people now too, like for instance, I work from home, right? So it's like, I don't get out and do things to meet people to potentially attract more clients.
Right.
So that's why, joining a chamber like this, and even just having a podcast where I'm meeting all of the guests that are coming in and then going to the events, it's a great way for me to connect and also learn about the businesses that are around, because I'm a homeowner. I live in Leominster. So it's like, I might need these people in the future, right, to do whatever when it comes to my property, whether it be selling it or fixing something. So I just really enjoy having the connections from it. And everybody's just so friendly. And that's one thing that I've noticed. And I had some apprehension going into the first one. I get a little bit of social anxiety. Just having everybody be friendly and welcoming and, that kind of thing is just, it's a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah. I will share. So before I worked at the chamber, I was a chamber member, and truth be told, I hated going to events because you felt like I understand the feeling of you're walking into a room and you think, I know nobody here,
Yeah.
and like this is going to be horrible. But I love that you mentioned that people are friendly, because the reality is, they're all so friendly. Like every
Really
once in a while, you get somebody that might be a little grumpy, but I think the reality of when they're like that, I think that they're uncomfortable and they're nervous. And so I have to remind myself, like, okay, they're not really a grumpy person. They're just probably like they're stressed right now.
Yes.
And so, like, I have to recognize that. And so I absolutely have felt that stress of, and I still do when I go to, I mean, not when I go to a Neshoba Valley Chamber event, because obviously, I've been here for so long, I know a lot of the people. I still always see new faces at every event. But if I am going to another organization's event that I might not know everybody in, I understand the walking into a room and feeling like, oh,
where do I start, almost kind of thing too. Yeah.
Like you're looking around like, is there anybody that I know? Anybody, please? But but they're, it is a group of really friendly and people that I have found that really just want to make connections and work together and raise everybody up. So I love that.
Yeah, and form meaningful relationships as well.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've really learned, especially being on my own, is the meaningful relationships end up, blossoming better things than just handing business cards out to people and selling yourself, with, I think, realtors call it commission breath.
Yes.
You don't want to have that.
Yes.
So, and, when you're at these meetings, that's not the tone at all.
No.
It's a very friendly, laid back. People are trying to just know each other, understand what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been great.
Good. Wonderful. Are there any new platforms or technologies that you think that businesses need to pay a little bit more attention to coming up?
Technologies is interesting because there's always new things when it comes to camera tech. AI, especially nowadays, has actually made my job a lot easier when it comes to video editing.
Okay.
So the captions, for instance, that get put onto it.
Yeah.
That's a AI plugin into my editing software.
Nice.
It's just like it streamlines a lot of things. So I'm interested to see if there's a way to almost, I wouldn't say like take away a cameraman, for instance, but be able to import almost like a pre-recorded shot into a camera, and then having it be able to run that kind of thing would be pretty cool. And then having it automatically track the person and having, so you can get some dynamic moving shots and all that kind of stuff. I know, for instance, like my drone does that, where you can lock in on a person and you can walk around and it would just follow you around, cool stuff like that. So yeah, some more of that kind of technology and stuff. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So you do drone work as well?
I do.
Okay. What else do you do?
I do everything but weddings.
Okay.
That's what I say. If you're getting married, congratulations. Please don't contact me to film it. I will not. But there's plenty of people out there who will do an amazing job for you. I'm just not that. It's not my gig.
No, so what do you do drone work for? What would be the purpose of a business getting some drone work?
It's great for real estate, especially. Construction companies when they're doing a lot of the before and after stuff. I know I've done some for the conservation lands in Groton.
Oh, yes.
Getting some of the footage and stuff like that of that. So
absolutely.
It's great, especially if you have a business too that does things like if you're a tree removal business and you want to get that high up shot of them actually cutting the trees or like that kind of thing. That's where it can be very useful.
Ah, fun.
Yeah, exactly. It is a fun part of my job for sure.
Nice. So what trends would you say have come and gone, and what's remained that's important?
What's remained important is the quality of the content. For me, it's the audio has to sound good. The video has to be clean, and there has to be a meaningful message in the video. Because for me, what I look at it is it's messaging over marketing. Mm-hmm. You want to, if you're creating a video, you want to get your message out there that relates to people, not necessarily just be like, hey, buy this. So even in the last 10 years, so I've been doing podcasts for a while, maybe since 2015, when it was just like radio shows, for instance. And I've always been doing the cutting up into clips type of thing, even since then, before the platforms were even integrating that kind of system where it's almost like a separate thing now within each platform. The interesting part is just having YouTube almost be like the end all be all for video. And now Instagram is actually one of the more popular video platforms. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are like the top 4 when it comes to like video stuff. Yeah. But they're all used in very different ways as well. So it's really important to understand when to use each one and how to use each one. Especially for like Instagram, it's a great way to be able to expose yourself to kind of like the random person out there, right? The scroller, for instance. So the evolution of the long form content for short form content, it's been interesting to see how everybody kind of went from, I want to watch, certain series at like 1 episode a week. Now everyone wants to binge it all. Now everybody wants to have constant stream of content coming to them. And like 10 years ago, we didn't really have any of the big streaming services. It was like Netflix, and that was pretty much it at that point. Now like every big company has their own. Even if you look at it, like if you had cable TV back in like 2015, and you're like, well, I'm going to just go for this subscription service. Now, if you have the 10 subscription services you have in order to watch every show that exists, it actually costs more than cable did back then. Right. So it's like, it's interesting how things are kind of, they go in and out, in and out. Yeah. So I feel like we're going to be going to a point soon where a lot of these big streaming services are actually going to be combining.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. And like ideally that would be the best way for everybody involved. Right. Right? Because you're not going to have to worry about, okay, I have to get Apple Plus for this show or Hulu for this one, Disney for that, and all that. So that's one thing I'm personally hoping for. Just
me too now.
for the ease of the consumer of being able to consume content easier. Yeah. I feel like it's behind a bit of a paywall right now, and it's a little disappointing.
I agree. So for a business that's just starting to explore video, what's one key piece of advice that you would give them?
It goes back to just doing it and understanding the value that it has and the different ways to use it, because I could probably think of like 7 or 8 different types of videos you can produce. And it's really about knowing who your consumer is to produce that type of video for. If you're like a landscape company, for instance, and you're creating a video on the best ways to maintain your lawn, that's could be very useful as like an explainer video versus like some sort of, sexy type of reel. Right. That's not really like that same thing. Versus if you're making a video for an event, you want it to be a little bit more poppy, flashy, to be like, this is what's happening. Look at the excitement, the energy, that kind of thing, to get people excited for the next one or that kind of thing. So that's what I would say.
All right. I think that's a great tip.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like our listeners to know about today?
If you have any apprehension about it, any anxiety, just reach out to me. I can put your mind at ease. It doesn't need to be complicated. I like to say, you bring me the ideas and I can take care of the rest. And that's pretty much what I do for this podcast as it is. So if you have an idea, if you thought of starting your own podcast or anything like that, I'm here to help.
Wonderful. Well, I, again, greatly appreciate. I'm grateful for the day that you came to the chamber.
Yes.
And we started the conversation. And because it was something that I had been thinking about forever. And I, in my frugalness, really overthought it too. I really was putting way too much thought into all the details. And so I'm very grateful that you came into the chamber that day. Where can people find you?
Yes.
Other than when you're at a chamber event,
yes.
and you're, behind the camera
right.
here at our podcast, how can people find you?
Clearsignalproductions.com. It's the best way. You can find all my info there. You can see all sorts of my examples.
Okay.
You can see, I have it broken down into like real estate, podcasts, and then just general videos. So there's so many that you can watch there to get a feel for the kind of work that I do, and it maybe give you some inspiration as well.
I was going to say, get some ideas.
Yeah, because you a lot of people could be like, I want to produce a video. I know I should produce a video, but what video should I produce?
Yeah.
So, reach out to me, clearsignalproductions.com, and I can walk you through the different video types that you can do, and like the step-by-step on how to do it, and put your mind at ease. And it's really not as hard as you think it is, especially if you hire somebody like me to be able to take care of a lot of it for you.
Well, he gets 2 thumbs up from us. So thank you, AJ. Thank you for joining us today on this side of the camera.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sharing a little bit about what you do. Thank you for being our ongoing producer for our podcast.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. And we'll watch, keep an eye out for what we've got coming up. See, I just stumbled. Let's see. You can keep it. You can edit it. Thank you.
Me too.